Hi, welcome to Living as Latinas. I'm Jaquira and I have my co-host here, Audi.
Hello.
This week we'll be discussing what it means to manifest things. How does this relate to how this relates to positive psychology and what is that? What are some viewpoints and how we can do small things to make a difference in our life? Listen and learn as we discuss manifesting things in your life. So one of go- So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was like the research behind this. So new trends in schools of psychology talk about power and positive thoughts and how these positive thoughts can create positive energy and attract things to us, which is what people call manifestation, right? So what are
hmm
your thoughts, Audi, on this?
So I have to say how excited I am to be talking about this because this is something that I researched way back. I think it was like 2006, and it was with
Mm-hmm.
the book The Secret, right? So remember when that book was like the thing to read?
Yeah. Yep. I remember.
So yeah, that was exciting, right? It was a whole new way of looking at the world in a way, right? And so that was really exciting for me. But after I read the book, I didn't really try anything. Like I feel like I got some new information I didn't even think about before, but I didn't really get a process, I guess. Or maybe I didn't understand what the process was. I just thought it was amazing how these people were doing all these things.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, yeah, okay, that's really cool. Okay, moving on. Because I didn't really grasp the essence of it. I guess I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I was ready to understand it. Maybe I don't
Yeah, at that time. So
know at that time. But with the pandemic, I think that because people are last year it was just there's not going to be a year that matches 2020. It's just
hopefully
impossible.
not, right? Hopefully not.
Well, I will have to manifest that because I don't want it. But with last year, I think that because of everything was going backwards and
Mhm.
people was losing control about their lives and losing jobs, losing family members, not understanding what was happening, not feeling like they were not able to change anything. And I think that that's where manifestation came back because people started searching. And I actually, we have this information that Google searches for the term manifesting skyrocketed 668%
Wow, that's
from March to
crazy.
July of
Oh my
2020.
God.
668%. That tells you that people didn't want the reality they had and they were trying to find ways to make it better, which is
Hmm.
awesome to me. Instead of complaining, let's try to find out how we can do this in a
Right.
different way.
I know. And like when you think about it, right? So manifesting, right? So what people were doing or what that word was meaning to them during this time, it's the practice of training your brain, right? To think more positive because of all the crazy things that has been going on in the past year and a year and a half since the pandemic. People were just like you said, sick and tired of everything around them. And so what this did was kind of reframe things, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
a CBT piece. So things that were happening that usually we don't sit down and think about and say to ourselves, like, wow, this is actually great. Like, this is amazing. Like, oh my God, I have my health. Oh my God, I have this. People weren't seeing those things because they were going so like busy and in their jobs and always, trying to get everything done within the 24-hour frame that we have each day. But people are actually thinking like, okay, today, like I am going to manifest or I am going to do certain things in my life for myself. I'm going
Right.
to sit down and read a book for 10 minutes. I want to be more positive when I interact with certain people, whatever it may be. People were kind of changing those mindsets that they had and trying to manifest things that they wanted for themselves.
Exactly. Taking care of your health in a different way,
Exactly.
with your brain power.
Exactly. Yeah.
And something interesting, Jackie, I think with that is to remember that we do manifest 24/7. This is not just, a new thing. We do manifest. We just don't realize it because we do it automatically. And I'll give you an example. Um, think about someone who's been depressed or anxious for a long time. They are manifesting situations in their lives where they can prove that bad things happen to them. That
Mm,
is a way to manifest. It's not only manifesting money and
yeah.
wealth and health and all of these beautiful things. We do manifest negative things. We manifest whatever it is that we have our thoughts, because we act on our thoughts. So
Mhm.
if you look at it that way, it's really interesting, and it's a really cool experiment to do with yourself. Okay, so let's see, if I change the way I see this situation, would it change the situation at the end of the day? And it would,
Mhm.
which
Mhm.
is the craziest part. It would change it. It depends on how you look at it,
Yeah.
which some people can't hear because they think it's just crazy.
Right. And I think it's too, like, when people are thinking about these things, like the people with depression, like they tend to feel more depressed because they're having all these negative thoughts. It's really hard to start to see the positives in your everyday life. It takes a lot of energy to do these
Yes,
things, right? And sometimes they need help with that stuff. That's where we come in, right? As counselors
exactly.
and clinicians, to be able to help them and family members, to kind of teach them these skills. So,
Because we are usually on autopilot.
mhm.
We are not conscious on every move we make. That's not how it works, right? We just do the things our body moves, our mouth talks, because that's what we do every day, but we are not 100% cautious or conscious on the things we do and we say, because we are on autopilot.
Yeah.
So it takes you to take yourself out of autopilot and actually start being conscious and cautious about what you say and what you do. Because in thinking about, okay, if I have all these negative thoughts when I wake up, and the first thing I think about when I wake up is, oh my God, I just woke up. How do you think your day's gonna go?
Yeah.
So one small thing that you can do with that is being grateful when you open your eyes and saying thank you for, like, giving me the opportunity to wake up today. Many people didn't, and I did. And try to be happy with that. If you practice that, the first few days you're going to think you're crazy and you're going to feel crazy, and then that's going to become your autopilot, which is what you want.
Mhm.
Because the moment you open your eyes, your autopilot is going to do the whole being grateful and thinking about positive things on its own. So you don't have to do it consciously anymore.
And that's the concept of self-fulfilling prophecies, right? So, like, the
Exactly.
things that we want for ourselves, we keep saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it, and, like, eventually that what all those things that we're saying are going to be the truth, and they're going to be
Mm-hmm.
what it is.
Exactly. And people don't recognize this, and it's just mind blowing to me, because that is the thing that we should be paying attention to. But I don't think that we are taught to do that in our everyday lives, in school, from parents. That's not how we are trained to think, right? But if you think about it that way, with the self-fulfilling prophecies, it's just whatever you believe that you're supposed to be, or the things that are supposed to happen to you, either positive or negative, that are the things that are going to show up for you
Mm-hmm.
because you already made a decision. If you said your whole life, I couldn't be a doctor. How? I'm not made to be a doctor. I'm not smart enough to be a doctor.
Mm.
I'm not wealthy enough to be a doctor. Seriously, how are you going to be a doctor? It's just
You're telling yourself you're not going to be it, so you're not going to be it, right?
exactly. You're telling yourself, and you're also wouldn't put yourself in a situation where
Mm-hmm.
you be prompted with an opportunity to be a doctor because you already decided that that's impossible. And so not being a doctor is not a matter of the fact that you're not smart enough. It's because you decided subconsciously that that is not possible for you. And so it doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. And I, like, I think that you just have to try to just make sure that your thoughts are positive, right? Whenever we talk about ourselves, we want to be positive, and when we talk about other people, we want to be positive as well, because
Right.
people have faults, we have faults, right? But when we start to pick and choose the things that we want to talk about when it comes to other people or ourselves, then that's how we view them as well, and how
Yeah.
we view ourselves. So, we just have to be very careful with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And you can say that really, you can see it really clearly, like in a family, siblings, for example. You meet one sibling and they might be, really happy, outgoing, and you would never think that nothing bad ever happened to them in the family, right? Trauma or anything like that. You meet the brother and you're like, really? You're from the same family? You grew up together? Are you sure? Because then the other sibling internalizes the situations as, this is negative. It happens to me because I deserve it somehow. And of course, it would happen to me. Why wouldn't it happen to me? All the bad things happen to me. Well,
Mm-hmm.
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them probably experienced the same thing, but the outlook is different. And that's why their lives is different.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that happen to people a lot of
And that's
times.
crazy.
I know. Yeah, that's crazy. So when we focus on the fact that our thoughts and energy create our reality, the first thing we need to focus on is how we are able to manifest these things. So what do we need to do, right? So like, what are we able to do in our lives to make this change and make our lives more positive?
I think that the first thing, the most important thing to do, and it's not it's just about manifesting things. I think that in general, if you can do this for you in your life, your health is going to improve. Your
Mm-hmm.
mental health is going to improve. The way you see yourself, the way you see yourself in the world will improve. And that is clearing space. What does that mean? It means that you sit down and you take the time to ask yourself, what are the things that are setting me back? What are the things and the people? Sometimes there are people in your life that really sets you back. How? Every time you come up with a new idea, they're the first ones that tells you you're crazy. How are you going to do that? That's impossible. That doesn't work. Well, it's working for 100 million people. Why wouldn't it work for me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that doesn't work. That, business, what if it doesn't work and you lose your money? There you go. That person, mhm. I don't want to say you need to get the person out of your life, but well,
Keep those thoughts to yourself, maybe. Right?
maybe that's a better idea. So clearing space for the good and positive things. So if you have all of those negative belief systems that you learned from just being alive and, from your family members and growing up and all these things, I'm not enough, or I'm not supposed to be a millionaire because I come from a poor family. How is that going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, so if you clear all these negative things, all these beliefs that no one knows where they came from, you have space for new belief systems that are more positive, that are more helpful in a
Mm-hmm.
way.
Mm-hmm.
And that is really difficult to do.
And that goes into our next point, right? So once you're able to clear space, right, then you're going to know exactly what it is that you want. So you are going to be able to kind of see the things that align with what you want. So if there's, like you said, people, then you kind of have to push them away. And if it's, thoughts, emotions that don't align with what you're trying to get, right? Then you're going to have to work on those things as well.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to move forward if you're stuck with this baggage that you're carrying of things that are happening to you, or things that have happened to you, or things that you can't let go, right?
And people don't realize the importance of that. There's no way to move forward if you're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you're stuck. That's why people say, oh, I go one step forward and then three steps back. Yeah, you got to go back because you got to work on those little tiny triggers that you don't know you have, but you do have.
Yeah.
And, for the good things to come in. And all of these things can sound a little bit crazy when you talk about it. I I have had some people actually laugh and say, Audi, seriously, you think, well, yeah, I see it every day. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not making it up.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that I can make this up. Me and 100 millions of people, right? No, it does work. And it's not, like I said earlier, it's not about, this trend manifesting this. No, it's about health.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to make sure that you have a better life, especially now? The world is crazy
Yes.
and it would take you with it if you let it. Don't let it.
Stand ground. Yeah. And know what it is that you want and work on it. Right. Give yourself the time and the importance to do these things for yourself, because
Yes.
we're always so busy. We're always taking care of other people, doing things for other people. Everybody else is always important. We bend ourselves 30 million ways to try to fit a mold to help other people and do things for everyone else. But when it comes to ourselves, we don't do the same, right? We don't take that time. We don't say, like, let me sit down and really do this because I need to work on myself. No. And I
Mhm.
get it too, because like when you have to work on yourself, it's not pretty, right? But and it takes
Uh,
a lot of work. It does. Not
and
everybody's
courage.
perfect. Yeah, exactly. And compassion and all those things that you need to have to be able to sit with yourself, the ugly parts and the good ones, and be able to be like, you know what? No, like this is not working for me. This about myself I don't like. And if I don't
Mhm.
like it, I can imagine other people probably don't either, right?
Exactly. They just don't tell you because they're being nice.
So, like it's you just have to work on yourself. Like, and we talk about this so much, and I feel like people probably tired of us saying these things. But
But it's important.
it's so important. It is so important because, like there's so many unhappy people in the world. There's so
Yes.
many people who are struggling, especially now with everything going on, that are like on the brink of not wanting to work on themselves, of not wanting to wake up in the morning, whatever it may be. And they need to know that there's hope, that there's things that you can do to
Mhm.
make sure that their life turns around, and there's people out there to help them as well. So
I always remember this story of someone that I follow on YouTube. She was talking about how she was, starting to learn about these things, and she was just like, I was so anxious that I couldn't even think because that made me anxious, and so I would refuse to think, which is crazy to hear, but that happens to people. And so she was saying that she was so anxious all the time. And she said, that's it, I'm not doing this anymore. And I got to find a way. And the way she did it was that she said, okay, if I can make my every 5 minutes of my day, I can consciously make sure that I feel good. At the end of the day, I already had a full good day.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounded kind of crazy to me when I was listening to her, because I was like, what? So you mean, okay. So every now moment, you're thinking about how you need to be feeling good. But by the end of her story, I was like, why didn't I think of that before? Because it made so much sense. And I even mentioned it to one of my clients. I was like, let's do this for this week and see how it goes. And that person had the same, reaction that I had to the video. She was like, but what would that do? And I was like, I don't know. Let's try it. And it was like the best thing. That person told me the next week. She was like, it was difficult, like the
Yeah.
first day, because I thought I was going crazy. Like, why am I doing this? Like, do I have someone watching me or whatever? But she said that it actually helped her. It didn't make her whole day perfect, but she was consciously deciding to feel good. And she said, I never in my whole life remembered all the good things I have in my life until I started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought I had a really bad life and I don't. I'm like, okay, good, let's keep doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I actually tried it, and it's really wonderful. And it's one little thing that you can do, and it really changes your health and your mental health. Because I think that people also forget that everything is connected. You can't treat your mental health and forget about your physical health,
Mm-hmm.
or vice versa, right? So if you're having these positive thoughts and you're concentrating on these wonderful things that everyone has in their lives, your health will also improve, because
Mm-hmm.
everything is connected.
So that's so like, how powerful is that to be able to learn these skills and then be like, oh, try this, like, here you go, tell me how it works, right? And then see
A
that
little
change in them.
experiment.
That's so cool. And I think another one, like, another way that we can do this is, to take it easy,
Yeah.
right? Take it easy,
And,
cogerlo
and
suave.
that is, I think, the most difficult thing to do.
Yeah. People always like are so like, I need to get this done. I need to get this done. I need to get this done. But sometimes you just like, you really just need to sit and just slow down and just be there for a moment. Have that space. And como dicen la gente, desearlo a Dios, right?
Yeah, déjaselo a Dios.
That's
And that is difficult to do. Like, I always heard my grandma say that, especially when someone do something bad to you, and she would say, "Ay, déjaselo a Dios." I'd be like, seriously? No, like, I want to do something myself right now. Can I kick her or something?
de
But
que no te preocupa de eso, déjaselo a Dios, ¿verdad?
déjaselo a Dios. But it takes a lot of faith and courage to just sit back and do that. But I think it's the most powerful thing to do. If you're religious, look at it this way. If God already knows what you want, He already knows before you do, right? And you already set your intentions, and you already have a plan that you're gonna follow to get there, to get your goal, right? And you're already doing the things that you need to be doing. Why worry? If it's for you, it would be.
Exactly.
And it's probably already is, but you got to go through the process to get there.
Let it be, right? Yeah.
Just let it be.
I think that, like, so many people have a problem with this, right? They feel like, oh my God, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to work on this. How am I going to get this? How is this going to happen for me? Right. And sometimes, like, I've talked to this a lot about with my friends recently. It's like, sometimes we always try to do the most. Entonces las
Yeah,
cosas no salen bien.
of course, because you're tú en el medio. Like, God is trying to make it happen for you, pero tú no lo dejas because you're
Right?
You're trying too hard.
You're trying too hard, you're taking it out of context, or you think that it's for you and it's not, but you're
And it's
pushing it
not.
so hard. You're making it happen so hard, and you see all these obstacles. And sometimes those obstacles are things that should be there because it's not for you, right?
Exactly. It's
And
like a
you're
wake up call that you never get because you're so busy trying to make it happen.
exactly. And that's the thing too. Like, like understand that certain things aren't for everybody. And also like if it's not for you, like you just have to be like, okay, yeah, like I understand it's not for me. Like I'm gonna change my plans. Let's work on something else, you
Exactly.
know?
Exactly that. Let's work on something else. Because something is not for you doesn't mean that it's not something for you. There is always something for everybody, but that something is not the same for
Mm-hmm.
everybody. So you might
Exactly.
see someone working on certain things and it's going really well, or the things that person is doing is really working for them, doesn't mean that it's gonna work for you. That's why it's so important to sit with yourself. Sit with yourself, ask yourself the difficult questions that we don't want to ask ourselves. Those are important because that's where you realize to first, like we said, the triggers and the things that are blocking you and setting you back. But also sitting with yourself will help you realize the things that are not for you. Because you're gonna keep asking yourself the same questions.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I want this? Oh, yeah, because of this and that. Okay, is that enough for me to keep trying? And sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes you're like, oh, I thought I wanted that, but that's not what I really want. It's this other thing.
Exactly. And that goes back to our guest that we had last week, Natalie, when she was talking about like the reasons why the motivations behind things that we do and why we want to
Exactly.
change, right? And so it's having that reason, like she was saying, that made her emotional when she thought about it. And
Hmm.
sometimes if we're not asking questions and we're not going deep within ourselves to figure out why we want these things, then we need to dig deeper.
Exactly. And emotion, that is the key for everything, I think. Because when it comes to manifestation, that is something that either makes it happen or not. It's how you feel. Because when you're manifesting something, you're supposed to feel as if you already got it. So when you're manifesting money, for example, you want to manifest $1,000, you can't manifest the $1,000 and feel um, lack and feel poor. You know what I mean? Like you can't be like, oh yeah, I want to manifest $1,000. Oh my God, I have to pay this bill and I don't have enough money. That's just not gonna work. That's not how it works. It's not about lying to yourself though. Like it's not about that. It's just about the fact you intend the intention.
Mhm,
You intend what you want. You feel like you already got it. So you
mhm,
feel happy, you feel joy, all these things that your intent is gonna give you. And then tú lo sueltas, tú se lo dejas a Dios, and you trust that it's gonna come your way. You're gonna find $1,000. And that sounds so crazy, but Yakira knows this story that happened to me. I actually found $500, $800 I found somewhere in a little baggie that I had. And that money wasn't supposed to be there. Am I saying that it was magic? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I found $800 in my property, in my little carterita that wasn't supposed to be there. Maybe I put it there. I was hiding it from myself and I hid it so good that I forgot that it was there. I don't know what happened, but it was there. It was mine. It was in my purse. So they were mine. But what I'm trying to say with that little story is that don't manifest $1,000 and then start thinking about, oh, but that's impossible. How am I gonna get $1,000? That's a lot
it
of money.
happens.
No, you do what you do. You keep working. You keep doing your thing, and somehow your carterita is just gonna give birth to money. I don't know. I still don't know how that happened, but it was mine. The money was mine. I'm not giving it back to any fairy that wants to come and claim it.
I have one too. Well, so my one of my things that I've been trying to manifest, right, is like having my student loans paid off, because like, it's a burden to everybody. Like,
Yeah.
why? And so mines are federal loans,
Mm-hmm.
and the attorney general. So I'm here thinking this, and I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm like, damn, this is holding me back. This is really holding me back from doing a lot of things, because I have to work at a nonprofit, whatever, until these loans are paid off. And then boom, in my email, I get on Friday morning, and I'm like, I get a notice from my student loans saying the attorney general sued us
What?
because of improper practices. You have the right to say that, like, give us reasons, and then we have to investigate. If we don't find anything to support our end, then your loans are going to be forgiven.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, yo le mandé ese email con
Of
tanto
course.
detalle de toda la vaina que me han hecho esa gente, and how they've like messed up my accounts for my payments, how they like all this stuff that they've done throughout the years. And I'm like, Diosito, te lo pongo en tu mano. Tú sabes lo que tú vas a hacer con eso. Pero if you just forgive all my loans, when in 5 days I get my notification que todo está all set, ya yo sé, tú estás ahí oyendo mi. So,
Exactly. Isn't that crazy? And see, that is a really good example, Jackie, of what we're talking about. You can't intend something and then start thinking about how difficult it would be for the thing to happen. Who would think that
right?
you would get an email from your student loan saying that the attorney general sued us? What?
And they
That doesn't
won.
happen.
The attorney general won. Yep.
That
And
doesn't
that
happen. So you don't need to know how your intention is going to come into fruition. That's not your job. Your job is to make the intention.
believe
Your
it.
job is to feel that you already got it, to sit with yourself, to work on the things that are setting you back. Because sometimes the intention is not the thing that you're going to get, it's something bigger and better, but you kind of have to work on yourself first.
Mm.
And so you start with that thinking, oh, I'm going to get $1,000. And then guess what happens? You don't even get $1,000. You get a three times more than your current job. That's not getting $1,000. That is getting $1,000 times who knows how many,
Right.
right? And so you got to sit with yourself and work on yourself. That is the most important thing to do. Because when you're open to new and better things in your life, new and better things start
The
happening.
blessings keep coming. Exactly.
They keep coming. And you don't even need to be religious to like feel it and do this. The way The Secret, that book, the way that they explained it had nothing to do with religion. So if you're not religious and you don't want to look at it through that lens, doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Welcome to manifestation. You can look at it from a metaphysical lens, from even a scientific lens, just
Mhm.
thinking about how everything is energy and your thoughts are energy, and throwing your thoughts, putting your thoughts forward, that is energy that you're putting forward. So what are you going to get back? The same type of energy, because energy needs to match each other. So if you're always talking bad about people and doing things to people that are going to be harmful for them, what do you think is going to happen in your life? Same type
Exactly.
of
Same type
energy
of.
is going to be around you. So sometimes people ask themselves, and other people, I don't understand why these things keep happening to me, because I'm a good person. Well, you could be a good person, but if you don't wash your mouth, if you keep doing these things to other people, be my guest. This is what's going to happen to you. So here I go again, going back to sitting with yourself, analyzing yourself. What are the things that I do knowing or unknowingly, because sometimes we do things and we don't even realize how bad they are, right? Getting people in trouble and stuff like that. Sometimes we don't even intend to do that, but that's what happens. And that's your responsibility. And so check yourself. And trust me, you'll start getting weird emails about people, perdonándote deuda and stuff. And you're like, oh, okay, keep them coming.
I'll receive it all. I'll receive it all.
Imagine the mortgage, sending an email. Oh, I'm going to try that one. People, stay tuned. That's going to be my new intention.
I'm going to show you the house that's mine's. It's my house. People live in it right now.
Someone messing up the whole computer system, and now they don't know how much you owe or something. Everything is possible, people. Everything is possible. And in these times that we're living in, we need to make sure that we are not focusing only on the bad, because if we do, it would take you in there. En español mejor. Te lleva entre las patas, is what I'm trying to say. So get from under las patas. Stay on your lane. Do the crazy things, even if it sounds crazy, even if people laugh at you, it doesn't matter. If you're happy and you're getting blessings, who cares? Right. People are going to start asking you, what are you doing? And you'll be like, aha. Okay. Now you want to know.
It's so funny. Yeah. It's so funny. So true, though. Well, just have to keep manifesting these things and to keep talking to ourselves, keep being positive, try to reframe all the bad and look at things more positively so that we can change these things and feel all that energy, that those things that we want in our life, they're not really impossible. Those things are within our reach and we can get them, all of them, or whatever you want. We just have to believe that we can.
Exactly.
That's our biggest roadblock, our minds and ourselves. So.
Yeah. So work on yourself, ask yourself the difficult questions, get rid of all those belief systems that we're trained to believe in, that doesn't serve us. And let's just do the crazy things so we can be happier and healthier.
Exactly. And one of the things that I've noticed too is like, I'm always saying thank you now. And it's not even towards people, but I'm just like, thanks. Like, thank you. Thank you for this message. Thank you for this life. Thank you for the blessings. Like, if you start thanking whoever you believe in all the time, believe me, you'll start receiving things more. So
yes, that is a powerful thing to do, to give thanks. Because the more you thank everybody and everything, even the bad things, the more good things, the more reasons to thank you're going to have.
Exactly.
So now Jakira and I are going to be in the box of the crazies. Try it for yourself. Try it. And leave us messages about, your crazy stories with manifesting things and how you did it and all of that.
Yes. Leave us comments on our YouTube page. Leave us comments on or DM us on Instagram. Email us. You can even leave like voice messages on Anchor for us to listen. So hit us up. Let us know how you feel about this and tell us how you've been able to manifest things in your life. We want to hear about it.
And if you want to be part of our podcast, we can talk all about your crazy stories of manifestation or anything else that you want to share with us. That would be cool.
Awesome.
So let us know. And in the meantime, subscribe, share, like, comment, all of those cool things in the social media, all social media. Our name is Living as Latinas everywhere. We're not everywhere, but Instagram, YouTube. We have the Gmail, livingaslatinas@gmail.com, where you can also Let us know any topics that you are interested in hearing us talk about, and we can do that. But in the meantime, please be kind to yourself and to everybody. Give thanks.
Bye.
Bye.